So, good morning, all. Welcome back to our next module. Today, we will discuss on Module 5 definition and classification of a microorganism. We heard about microorganism. We know microorganisms are not is visible through our naked eye. We can see only through a microscope. That's why we call it microorganism. So these microorganisms are normally associated with food spoilage and the disease of plants and animals, including man. So today we are facing a very serious pandemic situation. That is what we called COVID-19. Is it? So that is a the causative factor is a one viruses. So we will be daily hearing about one microorganism in our as a nowadays as a we can say absolutely like a it is something a routine thing. So at the same time, these microorganisms are of a great importance in human economy. So these activities of microbes had been harnessed for many useful purposes, even long before man had realized that they were the agents responsible for bringing about these desired changes. So few examples are where these microorganisms are beneficial for us is for making wine and vinegar, brewing, the leavening of dough, and the preparation of dairy products. Let's see the definition of a microorganism. So microorganisms are living things which can be studied only with help of a microscope. They include types that belong to the plant kingdom, those that are unicellular animalcules, and a few groups which are the lowest form of life and which do not belong either to the plant or animal kingdom. The groups that are usually considered as microorganisms are, so these are the classifications of microorganism you are going to study: algae, mold, actinomycetes, Saccharomyces or yeast, bacteria, Rickettsia, viruses, protozoa. So these are the various classification of microorganism. We will see each microorganism in detail. So first we will learn the characteristics of an algae. Normally, the picture which you see in the background is the microscopic view of an algae. These algae are commonly found in water, rivers, lakes, and ponds. Some members of this group are microorganisms. So they are capable of carbon absorption because it contains a green pigment called chlorophyll. So that is how they find their food for its existence. So here the algae are unicellular and other some are multicellular. Unicellular means a single cell algae are there, and multicellular algae also they are there. So these algae are normally classified based on their color, like green algae, blue-green algae, yellow-green algae, brown and red algae. Actually, for a easy understanding, I'm just giving only this classification right now. I'll give you more details when I give you the note. Okay. Now next is mold. Mold belong to a big group of thallophytes called fungi. Thallophytes means which is not able to move. So such a microorganism is what we call thallophytes. So fungi is a kind of a mold. They are not capable of carbon assimilation because they do not possess chlorophyll. So what they will do for the food is normally they depends upon the dead matters or organic matter for getting the food. The body of a mold consists of a cluster of filaments which may be septate or non-septate. So it depends upon organic matter for their food, either dead organic matter or living plants and animals. So the common mold in South India are classified into two. One is spores born inside sporangia and spores not born inside sporangia. So here you can see the clear idea. You will understand a clear idea about how the structure of a mold is. So I have said, told you in the last slide, like the body of mold consists of a cluster of filaments, which may be septate or non-septate. So this is the picture of a aseptate and a non-septate. This is aseptate and septate. Aseptate means actually this is a from the long slender body is small finger-like projections you can see hyphae. So hyphae with a no cell wall is considered as a aseptate. And with the cell wall is considered as a look here, you can see small partition at a regular intervals. That is what we call septate. So these are the two types of mold. Okay. Okay, now these mold in South India are classified into two types. One is post-born inside sporangia, one is not born inside sporangia. So that is also clearly shown in the diagram. So this structure is what we call the sporangio. So inside this structure, small spores has been produced. So after it reaching a mature stage, what happened here is this structure will be pop out, and inside the spores, it will be dispersed through the air, and it will be located in various places and started into a new plant. Okay, so that is how the reproduction of this sporangia is taking place. Now, the second classification of the sporangia is the spores not born inside sporangia. That is this type. So this is a structure of a aspergillus. That is a one example for this group. So here it is a unbranched structure at the tip part. It we can see it is a broad or a bulged structure we can see. So here a small conidia. This structure is called a conidia like structure will be seen here, and that is starting from steric matter. This is the steric matter, and this green is called a secondary steric matter. From the tip of this secondary steric matter, the small conidia like structure will be started growing. So this will be uh, fall off directly. The two are different. One is one kind is the spores born inside, and one is spores not born inside. It is this spores is seen outside of the structure. Here the spores are seen inside of the sporangio. So that is the two type of a mold. Now we are moving to the next microorganism called actinomycetales. So this actinomycetales is a kind of microorganism which having a characteristics between a true bacteria and the mold. So they produce mycelia. These are long structure, thread-like structure. This mycelia and more slender than the hyphae of mold. So this mycelia is a more slender than the hyphae, which we seen in the last slide. Uh, so this is more slender than the hyphae of molds. Now here the branching is also quite common. The most of them are aerobic. Aerobic means it required oxygen for the existence, and a gram positive. So there are two families of actinomycetales. One is actinomycetaceae and another one is called as streptomycetaceae. Next is yeast. True yeast are different from fungi in that they occur as a simple budding cells, do not form the branching filaments or hyphae which characterize the mold. So it is different from the mold or a fungi. So here it is normally occurred as a simple budding cells, not as a branching filament, what we see in the case of mold. The saprophytic species means it having no chlorophyll, so it couldn't prepare food for itself. So they need to depend on other organic matters for the existence. So this will be widespread in nature. So is are saprophytic in nature, and they will be widespread, especially in the area where more moisture and the sugar content. So such environment is more suitable for the growth of yeast. And these yeast are carried into air along with dust and thus widely distributed. Uh, Few yeast will also produce some infections in man. Next is bacteria. Bacteria are unicellular plants much smaller than yeast cells. The cells does not contain an organized nucleus. So the bacteria does not contain any nucleus. So these bacteria are two types, motile and not motile. That is one. Some bacteria can move, some cannot. So bacteria may be free living, saprophytic, parasite, or even pathogenic, causing diseases of plants and animals, including man. Next is Rickettsia, a group of organisms whose characteristics appear to be intermediate between those of bacteria and viruses. So this microorganism having the characteristics between the bacteria and the viruses. So they are very smallest organisms. So next is viruses. They are the smallest microorganism which cannot be seen under ordinary light microscope. So unlike bacteria, they cannot be cultivated on the artificial media, but it requires living cells to grow on. So that is one virus which we are seeing now today in our daily life. We are reading a lot of things, more unknown informations about the viruses through these coronaviruses. So in this picture, you can see different shapes of viruses. Um, so these viruses normally cannot cultivated in artificial media, but in the case of bacteria we can definitely cultivate it in a laboratory using this artificial media. But in the case of viruses, it requires living cells to grow on. So most of the viruses disease have been reproduced by the inoculation of virus containing material into the susceptible animal. So once they enter into the host body, they will be inoculate their virus material into their body, and that material, once it enters into the host body, it will multiplied, and it increases its colonies. And sometimes the very high number will causes even death also. So next is protozoa. It is a unicellular animalcules. Animalcules means the microorganism which only visible through the microscope. That is what the term animalcules means. So this here the this protozoa having different types of shapes. In the picture also you can see there are different shapes. Protozoas are there, and each organism is consists of a bit of cytoplasm that is embedded one or two nuclei, and this nucleus is surrounded by a nuclear membrane.